Hello? Hello? I think I'm live. Um, um, welcome. I think. Yay. Hi. I don't know if you can hear me. I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, yeah, so we'll just go with it. I'm on. Hi, I'm on. So I am working on putting a spin the wheel type of game together because I did see that some people were interested in that. It'd be like Bashar topics, and I have no idea how that will work, but we'll spin the wheel, and if there's anybody on here, we'll pick a topic, and feel free to discuss in the chat. I would love to be able to do a Zoom room, and go live at the same time. No idea how to do that, but that's okay. It's a learning process, so I'll just talk to myself right now. There was some questions that I noticed someone had asked about me, so I wrote them down, and here we go. Yeah, okay. I have no idea if there's anyone in here or not, but whatever. Why do I feel unworthy? Okay. Get right into it. So why do I feel unworthy? So I'll backtrack a little bit. Um I don't know if you can hear me or not, but hopefully you can. So I when I was in the womb, I did not want to be here. And I got confirmation of this recently. Pretty sure that I probably may have died in the womb. And and I'll explain kind of why I believe that in a second. But so recently my mom had told me that I was breached the whole time that I was in there, and that she never felt me moving in the womb. And whenever she would go to the doctors, they could never find a heartbeat. Um, and I guess somehow they did because they didn't take me out. But I highly suspect that I was probably in and out of deciding actually whether I wanted to come here as a soul. And obviously, she had a cesarean, and they had to, yank me out because I pretty sure I, on some level, didn't want to be here. But obviously, my soul chose to come. So here I am. So there's many other, reasons that I'll try and get to as to why I feel unworthy. But I guess fundamentally it stems probably from unconscious fears being passed down to me while I was in utero. That my mom, feared, is she going to be a good mom? Can they do this? Can they afford? Like, what have they gotten themselves into, kind of thing. And probably, guilt kicked in kind of right then because I was causing her distress in the womb. And, she her it is my belief that um whatever the mom is thinking with a baby in the womb, it gets passed on to her, to the baby, sorry, to me, her. And so I was picking up right from being a fetus that there was a lot of doubt, there was a lot of questions. I picked up a lot of her insecurities. I probably had some like feelings of guilt for the uncomfortableness that she was feeling. Um, and then there's obviously more like human experiences that caused unworthiness and guilt, and I'll get to those. Um, so then, fast forward to now I'm out. Here I am, growing up. In school, I didn't do very well. I didn't fit in at all, ever. right from the get-go, kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, whatever. Um, and yeah, constantly having notes sent home to my parents about like she still has them, like how bad I was, what a bad kid I am, um, fighting, pushing to get first in line. Um, Even though I'm actually not a fighter, so I find that kind of hard to believe. But I definitely know that I seeked out negative attention, and because it was the only attention that I knew how to get. And I love my parents; they're beautiful and they're extremely loving. And unfortunately, the emotional consistency or the emotional love was, hit and miss. And my mom took a lot of her frustrations about me out on me verbally, never physically, but verbally. And and yeah, and that added, some guilt because I could never understand. And to this day, I have a lot of guilt because I just don't know how to please them. I don't know how to make them happy. Um, it doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing in life, they've never said they're proud of me, And, so, yeah, I was always a problem child. I always caused them, stress unintentionally, I guess, really. Um, I took early childhood education and, I learned a lot kind of about myself through that, and that, negative attention was better than no attention, so I would purposely seek out negative attention, and I know that I would like, if my mom would say, "Don't," or "Stop doing this," I would purposely keep doing it, just attention. I'm an only child, and, I don't remember how I entertained myself because I know my parents, they never I know I always asked them, like, "Why don't you play with me?" And they didn't wanna play with me, because they were older and I was a kid, and I don't know. Um, so I found myself, I guess, very low alone, um, always, because I was an only child, but, yeah, my mom would take me to, like, activities, like the library for book reading clubs, and swimming lessons and stuff like that, but it was never interaction with them. And I never had friends because nobody particularly liked me, um, because I guess I was hard to get along with. I was different. Um, I never understood, and I still don't to this day, humans in general. Uh, I don't, the world, the classes, the teachers, school never made sense to me. I would always ask, like, why do I have to learn this? Like, Um, I don't understand why, like, why do I have to learn Shakespeare? Like, tell me how in life Shakespeare is gonna apply in my life. And, "Thou for not, thou this hath, it has noteth, yeteth." So I guess, yeah, at a young age, like, I knew things that I didn't know how that I knew. I knew when, kids were talking about me behind my back. And a lot of people can chalk that up to, "Oh, I was taking things personally. I'm making it up in my head," and all that stuff. But as it turns out, like I really wasn't. And I'm probably going all over the place. But so you know, today I hang out and I go to a lot of near death experience groups, and I find that that's pretty much the only place that, I resonate with people, and I understand, like, what they're talking about. And typically with near-death experience, a lot of them will come back with these, profound knowings, that they didn't have before. Well, I was born like that, and, that's why I kind of figure there was something going on maybe in the womb. Um, so Yeah, so I had a lot of guilt. "Oh, hello! I see chats. Hello. Hello. Oh, learning by contrast. How has your perception changed since childhood?" Well, um, so believe that my childhood, everything has happened for me, up until this point, um, to allow me to grow and to learn the life themes that I've come here to learn. And I don't know all of them, but I do know that primarily a lot of them involve loving myself, um, spending time with myself, and getting to know myself, which is has been very difficult. And so in college, I started using drugs, and I felt like it numbed or it made me different. So it altered my perception. And I guess it was a really good excuse for me to not have to be in myself anymore because I was so tired of just never being accepted and always being told that I was wrong, that I was different. And I am different, very different, and that's okay. Um, I yeah, so I am a recovering drug addict, but for 20 years on, I mean, probably more than 20 years, I was definitely an addict, a using addict. And it started with weed, and then it turned to weed and alcohol, and then it turned into a bunch of other stuff. And the whole time I was using the other stuff, because it allowed me to just talk. I could talk to anybody. I could go into a room and drink and do this stuff, and I'd have a lot of energy. I really don't want to say, like, the name of the drug because it doesn't matter, but, and I always thought that I had a high tolerance. And, it turns out, when you, um and I talk about weed because it's now legal here in Canada, so, um, I back in the day, I mean, I would go through an ounce a day, and I thought that was normal, um, and a good 26er on top of that, that was normal. I just thought I had a high tolerance, and then when I found this other stuff, um, that's a powdery substance, um, they referred to it, in terms of pool, 8 balls. We'll just leave it at that. So I was doing a ball a day, we'll call it that, and the ounce and the 26er every single day, every day. And yeah, my memories of that are obviously foggy. I definitely carry guilt about that because now I can look back and realize, like, whoa, um, I was kind of messed up. I thought I was in paradise, actually, like, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, but as it turns out, it wasn't. And during those times, I always had a job. I would get fired, go figure, from, all my jobs I've ever had, whether I was using or not, um, which definitely plays on self-esteem. And hello, hello, hello. Um, and Yeah, so I got fired from every job that I've ever had, whether I was using or not, and so that would, play into the, personality complex, dislike of authority, um, a sense of, like, righteousness in terms of, like, when I was a waitress or something, like, why do I have to tip out the bartender, for example, when they're not doing it? Just yeah, justices, that's another theme of mine. So I'll get fast forwarding right to the point of, like, the main guilt, um, and what triggered me into wanting to use drugs was when my grandmother died. I, to this day, have, uh, so much guilt because I feel like I abandoned her when she was in the nursing home, and, my donkey's coming over, and, uh, and I did that because I couldn't handle seeing her in a nursing home, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I didn't know what to do, and I would go with my mom and my grandpa, but I was just incapable of, expressing, talking to anybody because, we're not supposed to talk growing up, and don't cry, it's gonna be okay. Well, I was really sad, and, it killed me to see her like that. And, yeah, so that's the primary guilt, and I obviously still carry that, and, I've asked her for forgiveness. She comes to visit with, 5 senses and cardinals, and, I love my cardinals. Um, but that was primarily, after, when I started actually using, and, it numbed that guilt, that, piece of shit feeling that I felt like. So, yeah, and so obviously, in the having a career as a drug addict, not nothing to be proud of, but it is what it is. And there's lots of people that are, and it doesn't make them any less of a person. It didn't make me any less of a person. Um, but eventually, my life became centered around drugs, the getting, the using, and finding ways and means to get more. There's a lot of things that I'm grateful for my childhood, that my parents instilled in me. Like I thankfully didn't go to the streets. I thankfully didn't necessarily sell myself in that way. But I definitely would do actions to get drugs. So I kind of did, you know. It's all a matter of perception. Did I stand on a street corner? No, but I still did actions to get drugs, if you know what I'm saying, from drug dealers. Um, Not proud of that. It is what it is. Um, I got myself pregnant. Well, it takes two to tango. Um, with a boyfriend at the time, and I chose not to continue that. And this is a huge guilt factor. And the reasons were A, I was scared about how my mom and dad would react. Not very valid, but this was my thought process. And B, the most horrible truth about that timing is, oh, I love you, Unity. Thank you. The most horrific truth about that was I didn't want to stop smoking weed, and that was the fundamental reason for that. And I believe he was a boy. I believe. I have managed to, in meditation, talk to him and apologize, for that soul. And and I carry that today. And and on the flip side of that, you know, that was when I was using weed. So fast forward, a couple years later, that's when I got into the heavier, stuff, and my life went like for a shit show. So there's two ways that I look at that, and I guess in the parallel realities, choices. So I can look at it like, thank God that I made that choice, because then I would have been raising a little human while high on a drink that they call cocaine, and completely not present, and completely not a great mother. And so that would have been the life that they would have been brought into, which would have kind of repeated me, and inconsistent love and all that stuff, good stuff. Um, or, the opposite could have been like, maybe I never would have done any of those drugs because I would have had a little human to look after. I don't know. All I know is that I went down that road, and the drugs got worse. So that's another thing of guilt. And yeah, um yeah, so then fast forward, I guess, to, I'm trying to pick like the main events, 5 years, 5 years ago, I guess. So, oh, sorry, I'm all over the place, but so backtrack. About 15 years ago, I went to my first detox, and I discovered the 12-step fellowships, the anonymouses, shall we call it that? And that was when I first realized, like, holy crap, this perhaps isn't normal. Perhaps I don't have a high tolerance. Perhaps I have a problem. Hmm, okay. So that started my journey, and I go to meetings every day, and I've pretty much gone to meetings every day since then. And I have also relapsed many times since then. Um, the the most um, well, they're all profound, but the most traumatizing was cough syrup. Actually, in 2011, I had my thyroid taken out, and all in divine timing. Boyfriend at the time gave me cough syrup because I was coughing and it hurt. And the funny thing about that is I hated cough syrup as a kid. Like I wouldn't touch it because I would just gag at the smell of it. So it's funny how life things come up. So I ran with that because it in 2011 I also had my first heartbreak, real heartbreak, like crushing heartbreak. I'm not over it. Fast forward 10 years, but and so I found that the cough syrup numbed that heart pain and um, it took away my appetite. So I also have an eating disorder. I have a plethora of things. Woohoo! Eating disorder. So I consciously chose to run with that. Knowing a little bit about addiction, knowing that I was an addict, um, but I consciously put two and two together. It numbed the pain and it made me not eat. I'm golden. I wasn't golden, but that's where my brain I'm golden. I ran with it, for 3 or 4 years, and, I can tell you that that stuff took me to a bottom that I never thought possible. It took me to psych wards. It took me to interactions with the police. It took me to being tasered. It took me to being strapped in the psych ward. And there's lots of things that also happened, um, that allowed me to believe in myself and those intuitions and those premonitions. And I don't know how I knew what I knew. And I definitely look crazy. And I definitely have the certificate for insanity a few times from the psych ward, actually. Um, and so, just very quickly, during that time, I was going to meetings with, recovering addicts. So, um, questionable people. Just because we go to the rooms to get clean doesn't mean that we all decide to completely, actually change the way that we are. Because I also learned that the drugs and alcohol and all that shit wasn't the problem. I was the problem. And the drugs and alcohol was just my solutions at the time. But I'm the problem. I'm always the problem, so therefore I can be the solution. So while on cough syrup, some really funky things started happening with my computer, and I don't know anything about computers technologically, but in my heart and in my gut, I knew that my phones were being tapped and hacked because they were acting really weird. And I have a video that I put on here of like my phone typing, like I was videotaping my phone as it was typing. Go figure. So yeah, a little bit crazy, and that has some definite little post-traumatic stress involved in that. But you know, I later kind of, as I was listening, and things come into my consciousness as I guess they're meant to, and some past lives, things had come up which um, allowed me to think like, well, perhaps I actually did this in a past life. I was an evil hacker in a past life, and that's the only reason why I knew there was something wrong with the computer. I knew, and then I found wires in my house, and anywho, cuckoo. I realize how it sounds, but it is what it is. And so carrying on with the journey, I don't much have guilt about um how do I say this? I have guilt for the shit show that I caused my parents. But at that time, I was still financially supporting myself, like somehow drug dealer. Um, and I don't have any guilt and shame. I have a lot of resentment and anger towards the systems Because when you go into a hospital, you have no rights. When you're on a form, whatever the fuck the forms are called, you have no rights. You can't contact a lawyer. You can't, they can do whatever they want. And some fun-filled facts about that is one of the times I was tasered, and they actually came in my house, the cops, and like pulled me by my hair, and I had bruises like all over me, and one of them was a handprint. And so while I was in the hospital, um, I wanted them documented, and it was a fight to get that done. Because again, you have no rights. So all that I knew was to write on a piece of paper because that made it legal. And I just kept writing, like, I want these documented. This is time, date, like 5 pieces of paper. Then the psychiatrist, who I'm not going to name, comes in with the security guard and tries to mind fuck me, and tries to turn it around and threaten me. And I basically I learned how to stand up for myself, and I was like, no, dude, like, I don't care who you are. You're gonna photograph these hand marks on me because they're bruised, like, in the shape of a hand. And you're not gonna mind fuck me, Mr. Psychiatrist, because maybe in a past life I was one. I know a lot about psychology for some reason. No deal. So we'll fast forward through all of that. And yeah, that taught me to believe in myself even more. And I can't explain what I know. I never could. But things come to me when I need to, I guess. Um, and to this day, when my computer things don't, when things go a little weird, I automatically have that, you know, but it's not quite as intense. That was 5 years ago. I pray and I just hope that it's my angels trying to talk to me. Who knows? And I don't give those people, I know who did it. I can't prove it. That's another life theme. It's not about proving it. Um, I don't give them the credit. And when I go before the pandemic happened, because you're not allowed saying certain words, apparently. Um, when I would go to the meetings after and I would see these people, I would kill them with kindness. I would stare at them straight in their face, and I would give them like all the ammunition in the world, basically. I shared just like who I am. That's who I am. I was vulnerable with everybody. And yeah, because I really also came to learn and believe that the only thing that somebody can hold against me is like the secrets that I keep, or the things that I'm so ashamed of, which I'm just sharing on YouTube. Um, and that's what keeps me sick. Secrets keep me sick. So I came back with just like, here's have it all. Like, I'm gonna share it all. And if you want to use it against me, great. If you want to make some stuff up, great. But like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, oh my God, she's crazy. Oh shit, I already said I was. Like, and if that's of help to anybody, like it worked. It worked because and when they would make their little snarky comments, I would actually turn around to their face and out loud say, like, I heard that, thank you for sharing, but I heard that. And I showed them my power, because hurt people hurt others. And one of them was an actual psychopath. I took nursing, and the Hare's psychopathic checklist, he fits all of them. And that's okay. You know what? He was in my life. They all were, as a soul contract. And so while I still have resentments, I've forgiven on the level of I signed up for it. It was a soul contract. And out of love, they agreed to play that part. And I'm not nice to everybody my whole life. Like, I've signed up to play parts to be the villain and the victim. And that's just how I believe life works. Soul contracts. There's a beautiful book, Your Soul's Gift by Robert Schwartz, and that profoundly changed the way that I look at life. I believe that we're all here for a reason, and that's part of my struggle. Because, like, why right now? Like, I would like to know what that reason is. but it is all in divine timing. There are themes that I signed up for. Anybody that has ever hurt me has done so out of love from the other side. Um, I don't know what lesson they were supposed to learn. There was some sexual stuff as a child, and um, during addiction, I was raped and then blamed that it was my fault because I was using. Okay, cool, whatever. It is what it is, and I can forgive them, and I can see that hurt people hurt others, and it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it justifiable, but it does allow me to let it go from my conscious so I don't have to hold it because I carry enough shit, like if I can forgive and try and move forward, that's the easiest thing for me to do. And hurt people hurt others. So for the most part, I can show compassion with most people. Some people, but if they actually asked me for help, I probably still would help them because that's who I am. And the other lessons that I've learned is to be me. I'm a loving person and I give a lot. And I've also learned to not always just give because I would give in an effort I would want people to like me. Please let me buy you a gift. And that's how I was loved as a child. Um, Spoiled brat, single child. If I'm upset, here, we'll buy you something to shut you up. And so I've learned over the years and through going to the programs and learning how to be a human and the 12 steps and going through the 12 steps, which is kind of painful because you relive everything. What did I do wrong? Who do I make amends to? Um, and I've made those amends to the best of my ability. And how has Bashar's teachings helped me? Well, you know what? I'll be honest. Bashar's teachings about the fucking formula, pardon my swearing, right now in this moment. When I hear the formula, I have a resentment. I have, I have a resentment to the formula. Oh Lord, because and I can come up with all the excuses in the world. It's a beliefs. I have a lot of beliefs, core painful beliefs of unworthiness and belief I need to be guilty and the expectation of the outcome. Mm. I love painting. I love putting things on YouTube, and but there's that underlying hope, prayer, expectation for some type of income because I don't have a job and I'm on ODSP, which is Ontario Disability for those that not in Ontario. And that's something else to make your parents proud. I also have autism. I could list all the bunch of things that I have, and borderline personality, attention deficit, depression, anxiety, addiction. And to every one of those things, I actually believe is the spiritual opposite. And yeah, sure, you can label me whatever you want, but really, I believe autism for me. I see the world differently. I always have. I see through the corruption and the lies of the powers that be because none of it makes sense. And yeah, I don't believe a lot of humans when they talk to me. Um, and through body language and stuff like that, I can just tell when someone's lying, whether they know it or not. It's a gift and a curse. What else? Um, so actually, since the surgery in 2011, life has become a lot more of a struggle. That's a belief. I know it's a belief. A belief in struggle. I know. I know. Um, and I watch and I reprogram my mind every night with positive affirmations, Kenneth Soares. Like every night. Literally, I fall asleep every night to him. And I consciously choose gratitude because attitude is gratitude. And I can say I'm doing the work on a daily basis. And I can also say that there is still this like heavy weight on me. And um I don't know how to explain it, except I often feel like there's just, I don't want to say something out to get me, because that's like really victim. But no matter what I do, there's literally just something, some things, some beings, I have no idea. Um, yeah. And light attracts dark. So, and I don't pretend to know exactly what's going on in the other realms, except to say that I had a reading done that I can post, and it was with Tina Slade, and she does light language and dragons, and she goes into like my field, and what she came up with like made a whole lot of sense to me. So out of nowhere, she had told me that I was buried alive. And yep, I already knew that, because in meditation a long time ago, I had things about my throat and I was trying to figure out what was going on. So I had already known that. I had a suspicion, sorry, that I had been buried alive, that I had been choked, that I had been a part of the underground horrific, there's a name for it, but trafficking. And the other term I'm probably not allowed to say, uh, involving children, and it starts with a P. I'll leave it at that. And she had said she never knew, she never met me, except we did it on Zoom, and I was lying down. So yeah, so she brought up all of that I had done in past lives, or parallel realities, whatever you want to call it. I still don't know how to explain it, but I was part of the Masonry, or the Masons, the Catholic Church. I helped. I was in the dark. I was basically dark, most of my lifetimes. So, and this one, like, I'm a good person. I know I'm a good person. I don't hurt people intentionally. And so I would often like wonder, like, what the fuck is going on right now? So it makes sense that my soul, signed up this time to make amends for all the other lifetimes. I helped take down Atlantis. I don't have memories of that, but okay. Um, and I basically was like the devil in Prada for most of my incarnations. And I hurt a lot of people, and I took a lot of souls out, and I'm making up for it in this lifetime. And I would love to have been able to remember all that. I really think we should have access to our soul contracts, personal opinion. At least to have, an idea of, to like, as to like what the actual F is going on. And when I heard all of that, it just resonated. I mean, I can't prove it. Um, it just makes sense to me. And yeah, so I'm here to atone for all of my, whatever you want to call them, past lives, parallel incarnations. And yeah, and then as for my energy, um, there I can't see auras and all that stuff. And I believe that I have blockages because I meditate for 5 years, and like um there have been a few people where they have said like I need like an exorcism. And the way that happened was kind of funny, actually. We were in a meeting, a spiritual meeting, and all of a sudden this person's like, "We need to help Julie. We need," and I'm lying on the couch, like I'm just chilling. "We need to help Julie. Like, Julie, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I sit up. I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what? Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, I'm fine. And I sit back down. And as I was lying there, my first honest to God thought was, "Oh, am I having a heart attack? Am I leaving?" Like, I was excited. Like, I was excited. But no, I'm still here. And so, long story short, I don't know what he did, what he saw, but that was normal. That is so normal to me since that surgery, that I can wake up and be happy, and then all of a sudden, just phew, it's like a floodgate of thoughts and emotions that are not my own. And sometimes I can catch them, but for the most part, I can't. Um, and so my days go from like a constant fight to like, who am I? Who am I? What is my frequency? And what is not? And what is it? And where are they coming from? I have no, like, I still don't know. I mean, I do daily incarnations of light, and prayers. I smudge. Um, it's like it's a constant battle in my own head. Me, myself, and I. Maybe I have multiple personality disorder. Like, cool. We fight a lot then, you know. Um, sorry, I can't. I'm trying to like read all this. Uh, uh, you are not atoning for any of your simultaneous lives. You are here and now. Those people and their decisions are their work and have nothing to do with you. I imagine the reason the idea of guilt atonement resonated with you is because of your beliefs in guilt and unwillingness. Yes, I believe I have a belief in guilt and unwillingness. I have those unworthiness. Yeah. Um, and low self-worth. Absolutely. Comparison to others. They're doing it. Why can't I? What's wrong with me? She's prettier. That's why. If I looked like that, then I would get the boyfriend. If um I have been down that path. I have been 90 pounds. I've had the boyfriend and I still wasn't happy. So again, all of that just goes to show me like it's an inside job. It doesn't matter what I look like on the outside. It matters what I do to heal. I hear you, my boo. I hear you. To heal. And I'm still working on it. And their decisions reflect contrast. What you know not to be real. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Sorry. Um, Yeah, and so, perhaps I'm blaming outside entities, I have a belief in that too. Um, and so the answers all lie within me. Give me a boo. Um, and and if I don't, I would just love to have access um, to some type of, I don't know, of healing, of letting go, because Lord knows I've tried. I don't know how many other ways I can possibly attempt to let go. Um, but really what I really just it comes down to this belief that without struggle, then what? And so two of my fears that I've come to accept, that rule my life. I have a fundamental fear of failure of anything because I've been fired from every job. That's all the past. And I have a fundamental fear of success. What if I shine bright? Like, then what? Like, what if I am successful? So, two polarizing fears that live in me, hand in hand, um, and it all goes back to just past experiences. Because when I was myself, when I shine bright, when I just was authentically me, talking about aliens and past lives and reincarnation and tarot and oracles and woo woo, all things woo woo. Um, eventually I got shat on, and that's okay because it's made me stronger. Um, and there's a lot of things that I have learned. Like I don't give myself my happiness doesn't depend on other people. 99% of the time, I don't purposely go and try and hang around with people that I don't like and they don't like me. And I don't care if I get invited to places that I don't actually want to go. So I don't have any friends, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. Actually, I'm good with that. Because I don't do fake, and it's not a judgment on them. It's just a judgment on me because I don't want to be fake. I've been fake like my whole life, and it's much easier just to be authentically me. And if people like me, great. And if they don't, great. You know, I struggle with fitting in and belonging in my 12-step groups because I'm a little weird. Um, and I mean, as a recovering addict, sure, an addict that kind of sets anyone that's an addict will kind of know, like, we're a little bit different than normal people. And and then there's me, who's an addict, and then, it's difficult to talk about certain beliefs like, "Oh, I seen a spaceship." And I get really excited, and people in the meetings are like, "What's wrong with her?" Um, whatever. It is what it is. And yeah, so those have been my life lessons. How worthy you fail. If you were to fail, yeah. So every time that I get fired, have been fired, it does reinforce those beliefs. And that's when stupid, it's not stupid. The formula gets so frustrating. Um, and I have a belief that it's difficult, and it is for me to, to not have those past experiences play into those, things. Like, no matter if I try, I put myself out there, and then something happens, it's like, "See? They like, no matter how much I don't wanna fail, then I fail." But then there are, like, moments of bliss, and those are far outweighing the moments of, like, I'm a piece of shit fuck up, except when I talk to my parents, because 'cause I'm 44, I have no income. They help me financially, they put gas in my car. Like, that's a little embarrassing, just saying. Um, and here also lies, the problem of my belief in a problem, but actual reality. I have, my nursing license. I have a certificate in, life coaching. I have a certificate in early childhood education, outdoor recreation, quantum healing, energy healing, Reiki, pet grooming, and my mind and body cannot do 12-hour shifts. It just doesn't happen. Like, I actually lose my mind. I cannot handle being in a hospital or nursing home or institution because I cannot tolerate the policies and procedures that, as a nurse or a PSW, because I've done that too, I have to adhere to. Um, Forcing somebody to eat, forcing somebody to take medication that they don't want to take, forcing or letting someone sit, in a soiled adult diaper, which is called an adult product, um, because it hasn't reached the fucking maximum level before you're allowed to change it. I can't handle. I can't. I can't. I can't. Um, I can't. I can't. um, Giving somebody 5 minutes to eat their dinner because you have 10 other people to feed. I can't handle it, and I can't do it. And so that's, I can't go there. Um, it's not good for them. It's not good for me. Um, I struggle with stimulation, like a lot of things going on. I walk around with headphones. I have them right here. I walk around with headphones to try and cancel out people and the noise, and the stimulus. And it is what it is. And as for the shopping addiction and the debt, which is my current struggle manifestation, it's no different than using drugs. It's an addiction. It's an attempt to fill a deep void that I have yet to figure out what it is. Um, right. So 5 years ago, I was starting to talk about this. I suspect that this was the trigger point because that's when the shopping started. Prior to that, I had surprisingly awesome money managing skills. I bought my first car in cash. I actually hoarded money. Now I just hoard objects. But anyways, um, my dog was murdered, and I found him in my dining room one day. I woke up and I came down to him, um, and I knew there was something wrong, and I had him booked in for an appointment that day. And because his stomach was bloated, and he just wasn't acting himself. And I noticed before that he'd always go to the side of the fence, and had always wondered, like, what the fuck are you doing? So long story short, when I took him to the vet, they confirmed that it appeared to be poisoning. And great. And the only way I could find out exactly what it was to drive him to Toronto and get like an autopsy done. And there's no way I could drive with him to Toronto. And really, I played the tape through and I asked myself, in the grand scheme of things, like, what would be the point of that? To find out the substance That great, okay. It doesn't allow me to prove who did it. And I have suspicions, around the same people about the computer. Um, but I can't prove it. So driving to get an autopsy would prove nothing. He was gone. So um I have a shit ton of guilt for that. Shit ton of guilt. And obviously not over it yet. And I'm pretty sure that did lead me back out onto a relapse. And yeah, it did. Because in the same time frame, there was a guy that I was dating from Sudbury, and he came and moved in. And he did there's a term for it that I'd never heard of. He ghosted me. He left in the middle of the night. He took all I have to laugh about it. He took all of his stuff in the middle of the night and left. I woke up and I was like, "Where is he?" Bags were gone, and oh yeah, he ghosted me, which is kind of funny. I've been ghosted. Too funny. And so that was neither here nor there. And now and then I got and then I got dumped in Cuba. A guy I was dating took me to Cuba. I was like, "Oh, wonderful." And then in the middle of like 2 days in Cuba, he didn't bother to tell me that like he was breaking up with me. He just stopped talking to me and like started giving me this silent treatment. And I was like, buddy, what's going on here? Like, this is kind of awkward." He's like, "Oh yeah, I don't even know what he said, but like, I'm not attracted to you anymore, or this isn't gonna work." I'm like, "You decided to do this in Cuba?" Like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, 2 days into Cuba. That was fun. Good time. Oh my god, I have to laugh about that. Yeah, so cool. I did my own thing in Cuba. Like, I have no problems with that. But unfortunately, we had the same hotel Oh, my Lanta lordy. Yeah, and then had to drive. Oh god. Awkward. Wow. Yeah, so then, then the first guy that 10 years on and off, the love of my life, um, we tried it again. He's also from Sudbury, and, we got engaged. He was living here, and, I know don't go back to an ex, they're an ex for a reason, right? But I just love this man so much. Thought I did. I love the idea of him. Um, it turns out he, when he was good, he was really good, and then when it was bad, it was really bad. And so while he was here, we got engaged. Um, not really the greatest proposal when someone's drinking for me personally. Whatever. I said yes, and I knew it wasn't going to work at that time. And so it took about 2 months of me knowing like it just wasn't going to work. He had started to use again, and his drug of choice was a crack in the wall, and okay. And I was unfamiliar with that, and he would also inject himself with stuff. So I caught him in the garage injecting himself, and then I found these Brillo pad things, which apparently is used for the other substance. Anyways, that wasn't, pretty. One time, and I had to call the police because he was trying to get back in and he was making a scene. And this is the best part. The police officers that showed up threatened to charge me with public mischief. Not him, not the man who stole and hawked and is on drugs. No, I'm causing public mischief. Okay, whatever. So that was in 2000 and it was July 15th, 2019, when um, I chose myself and I drove him to the bus station and I haven't talked to him since. And that was also whenever that was, I had decided to smoke weed again, to try and get on his level. And that is not in a judgmental kind of way. I just wanted it to work so bad that the only way that I could talk to him and relate to him, I thought smoke weed to get on his level because he was high all the time. And and then I decided that that's not who I am. I don't deserve that. I don't want to be that way. I don't want to have to smoke weed to get like married. Like that's just it for me personally. I fuck that. So that was the first day in my life I ever chose myself, and hardest decision I've ever had to make. And learn valuable lessons. Like I don't like weed actually. I ate a chocolate bar and I was just comatose. Paranoia, comatose, like anxious, um, absolutely insane. And I can definitely say that the entire lifetime that I did it, convincing myself that it calmed me down and it took away my anxiety, it did not. It did not. It gave me anxiety. I don't like it. And I can say that. Like, I don't like it and I don't want to do it. So I stick to my Diet Coke, which I'm addicted to. Go figure. I drink a lot of Diet Coke and I smoke a lot of cigarettes. And yeah, it could always be worse. Could be snorting stuff. I could be shooting. Hi, boo. So it's me and my boo. And yeah, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Confusing the two ideas, the formula and my core beliefs are two separate ideas. Yes, but they kind of coincide. So acting on the highest excitement, I can do that, especially since the lockdown started. I I loved I loved the lockdown. I have to be totally honest. I thrived in the lockdown because I didn't have to go out and like hang out with people. It was brilliant for me. And it was my permission slip to to be okay with myself by myself in my house. And I painted it. I started painting. I watched a YouTube video because I was told myself, "Oh, I can't paint." And then I watched a YouTube video, like a painting tutorial, and I'm gonna unplug this and take you for a, I think you've already seen a little bit of a tour. But I mean, I went buck wild. Like I started and I just didn't stop. Like everything you said, painted my walls, like literally painted the walls, got into resin because watched a YouTube video on resin. That's my walls all painted. I put trees in my house because I always wanted a tree in my paintings. Um, yeah, these are actual trees. You can't see. And then this is a giant, I don't know how to walk with it thing, but a giant tree. I made trees. Yeah, I put them on my walls. Um, there's one right there. So yeah, I took bark that was already on the ground and I dried it and then I put like a wood coating on it and then I wrapped it around columns and I put them in my house. My dad wasn't too happy with that, whatever. And yeah, I started putting holes in my walls and putting art in the walls and yeah, I love the lockdown. And then I watched something on wood carving. There was a guy making wood carving. I was like, oh, that looks like fun. And so I got the Dremels and the carving and I started making birdhouses out of wood. All these passions, and like I lost track of time and space, and it was brilliant. And I still do that today. And yeah, I still do that today, and that's my passion. And I want to help people. I want to help myself, and I can't help other people unless I help myself. So, hand in hand. And yeah, it's just that expectation or hope of um, the financial whatever. But I can say um, to 100% that abundance is always with me. I always, always, always God always, universe always gives me what I actually need because what I need and what I want are up here, are has no idea what I need and what I want. Impulsive. Just saying. And then actually I heard in one of his talks recently, nailed it on the spot because a kid was asking about impulsivity, and Bashar's answer was, well, impulsivity is from um, anxiety. I was like, snap. Yes, anxious. So now I have a little bit more to work with. Like, yeah, anxious. Why am I anxious? I'm not sure yet, but I'm anxious, and that leads to impulsivity, hence buying crazy stuff, shopping that I don't need. I don't need. Um, but again, needs and wants, and I could blame my childhood, spoiled brat, single child, maybe, but no, there's just a void. Um, there's something, that I haven't quite just found the root to yet, and with time, I will. I know I will. And um, what would be my dream job? I have a lot of life experience, I know. Um, and here's the thing, I have no direction, and I've never had direction. What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know. Um, a dream, I have no idea what it would be, but it would be something that is passionate to me, that brings me joy and helps somebody else. Um, it's pretty wide open, actually. Um, yeah, just something that fills my soul with joy, and allows me to help somebody else to fill their soul with joy. And it's not honestly about the job right now. Like, I know it's not because I have gotten out of debt and then I just get back into it. So the lesson I believe right now in for my soul's lesson right now is to it's the behavior, it's the why. It's not the actual debt, it's not the actual money, it's not the actual no job. It's the I need to figure out um I don't like the word control, but I need some sense of fucking control over my mind and over my actions. And yeah, it's it's and I've noticed changes. Like I will purposely like abandon a cart full of stuff, for example. Like, no, I don't need any of this, and walk away. Um, so I know that I've made progress in like little baby steps. But and I also believe that for me, I have to hit rock bottom in all areas, like with drug addiction, with whatever it is, rock bottom before the miracle of change actually unfolds. Um, and it's on its way there. I know it's on its way there. And yeah, um, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I can't follow. It's my first time like reading, so I can't. First time reading. Um, dream job. Yeah, I mean, I'm game for anything as long as it's helping somebody else in a loving, positive way. And I don't really know what that looks like, but why would all that is do this? Because I am beyond worthy. I am. Why would all? Because all that is doing it for me. Um, I'm not sure if I'm misreading this question or not, or if I've blamed all of it is, but no, this is all hi boo. This is all my divine soul's plan, and I don't know the soul's plan, but I do know intuitively enough that this theme of lack and self sabotage, it's all me doing it, and so it's up to me to get out of it. Essentially, I I have the capability, I have the knowledge. It's just a matter of the application. And as a child, if only Julie applied herself. Well, now I have to apply myself, you know. And yeah, and it will come. Like good things come. Good things come to good people, and I'm a good people. And I have lots of beautiful things that have come, and I always have what I need when I want. And smoking cigarettes is by far probably most people's, not an idea of what they need. But if you smoke cigarettes, like it's a need. It's a need. It's an addiction. Yeah, no lie there. It's an addiction, but it is also a need. So I have made an agreement with my higher power, my God. Like, dude, you smoke because you need to understand that this is part of my needs. And so far, it's working. If I don't have smokes, I'm just letting my dog out. Sorry. If I don't have smokes, miracles happen. Like I know they do, and I just need to be conscious, not and focus on those rather than complaining about poor me, because I've never gone without smokes. There has always been something, and I maybe I've sold like a Nintendo to get smokes, but I still got smoke. I'm not proud of that, but whatever. So abundance is everywhere. I posted a thing yesterday of a cardinal, a cardinal, like beautiful, and then a bird. I watched a bird flying in the air, and I watched it poop. I've never seen a. I mean, I know birds poop, but I've never actually seen a bird flying and it pooping at the same time. And I watched the poop come down. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This was yesterday, and it made my day. I love feathers. Feathers are abundance to me. Dimes are my papa, and blue jays are my papa. And I get really excited when I see them. Cardinals are my nana, and 5 cents. And abundance is finding pennies from heaven. Um, yeah, abundance is everywhere. Abundance is my dog, happy and playing with his Kong toy right now. So I am totally abundant. It's just a matter of perspective. And all that is loves me so much that he will unconditionally support me in my lack of abundance, if I choose to look at it that way. And I can say it's getting better. It takes practice, but my perspective is far more positive than it. Okay, apparently my doggy didn't want to go with me. Just wants to play with his ball. And yeah, abundance. This is beautiful abundance right here. What are you doing? What are you doing? You playing with a ball? You playing with your ball? Oh, that's a nice one. That's abundance. That's bliss. The pure innocence. He's 13 years old. His name is Boo. He's the love of my life. I love him. And yeah, that's where joy is. Watching him try and get his treats out of his Kong ball. And yeah, simple things in life. I don't need anything. And as long as I can keep in that mindset, life is good. And I'm excited because I got to go live. Like, whoa, how does it get any better than that? Thank you, angels. Thank you, guides. And yeah, what else? Open to all possibilities. You were speaking about abundance. You have so much abundance because it's easy. Yes, permission slips. Permission slips. I use crystals. Um, I love crystals. I'm also a hoarder, so let's be honest. But I have a lovely. You see them? I don't know how to. I have a plethora of crystals to choose from, and my go-to is my selenite, my amethyst. I love amethyst. I would love my own Bashar. If you consider replicating yours, I'd love to purchase one of your creations. You want Bashar? I can make you a Bashar. This one? And to you, good day. How are you all on this day of your time? Thank you for joining this live stream. We welcome you on this day of your time. We can pretend that this one knows what to say. You could ask a question, but let's be honest, the answer probably won't be coming from me, Bashar. Perhaps Willa. Willa's over there. I could go get Willa. Christine, yeah, I can make you one. I can send you one of these guys. Sure. I would be honored to. Um, I don't suggest putting your address in the chat. But I will type my email. And if you want to email me, then I can send you one for sure. It won't be until probably the end of the month because that's when I get paid. Whitefeather1979 at iCloud.com. That's my email. Yeah. And to you, good day. How are you all on this day of your time? I actually want to make an ALF. I don't know if anyone remembers ALF. ALF, alien life form. This is an interesting, I don't know how I kind of see how life works in really weird ways. I have never, even though I'm wearing, a Star Wars, I think he's just cute. Yoda or Groda, Yohu, Roku, Yoda, whatever his name is. I think he's just really cute. So I never watched Star Wars in my life, Star Trek, none of that. I never watched The Simpsons. I never watched that 70s show. I was born in 1979. So I never found any of that really entertaining like the mass public did. But I was addicted to Alf, ALF. And I have some of his cards. And I mean, I had his I had bed sheets. I still have my 3 dolls. One of them talked. Um, and I remember my prayer at night was for him to be alive. Like all I wanted was my Alf to be real. Like that's all I wanted. So um fast forward and I watched the Care Bears, Inspector Gadget and the Jetsons and the Flintstones and Leave It to Beaver. So fast forward to now, which I find really, really funny, is in my zone of consciousness now, are all of a sudden I'm being intrigued by learning about like other life forms out there. Like go figure. Um, and Bashar's teachings, the substitute teacher one where he called in the the in trainee. Oh my God, that was priceless. I watched that. I just laugh like man made shower, shower made man made waterfall, shower with hole in the ground. Oh, I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. And so I have a theory that, and I don't know much about it, but I find it very interesting that there was a planet, Meldek, Melchizedek. I'm probably saying it wrong. That apparently got. I heard the story today of what happened. It got taken out by I don't know, the negative forces or something like that, and it got taken out. We got taken out, and then thus it formed the asteroid belt. Anywho, Melchizedek, Maldek, something like that. It got blown up. However, here's my thought process. Alf was from the planet Melmac. Now, I really believe that back then, people knew what was going on. Like, there's no coincidence. Like, even the Care Bear stare, send love, love is energy, right? There's correlations to everything. Like back in the future, that's kind of happening now. You know what I mean? So back then, they were probably just forecasting this this timeline. I find it very interesting. Um, and I believe that consciousness in itself, like I can't just come up with an idea unless somewhere in my consciousness from whatever timeline, whatever space and time, it has to have somehow experienced it or known about it or heard about it or something like that. So, like, these ideas that people came up with back then are brilliant. You know what I mean? Because they came from somewhere. Um, Alf from the planet Melmac, because his planet got destroyed. Very similar to Melchizedek or Muldek or whatever it was called. I don't know. That's just my theory. So maybe my space family is Elf. I don't know, but I try contacting them. I would love to um, be able to channel or talk to like a Pleiadian or something like that. Do any of you guys do that? That would be really cool. Um, yes. I think Christine, you were saying yes to the Bashar. Cool. If you email me, I will keep you updated when I'm able to send it to you. Bashar is the best. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yes. And quick little side note, I'm going to end this soon because my mouth's getting all wet and pasty. So far, so good with the postings. I did yeah, YouTube's a funny thing. So one of my videos that I had put up, it was from a BQH session. Uh, it um, it it did not adhere to YouTube's policies and procedures on the topic relating to any health concerns. There's a whole list of stuff that you can and cannot say. And I guess in that session where the person was unconscious and it was their higher mind talking about something that was going on in this time and space with stuff and getting and not whatever, you're not allowed to talk about it. So cool. So then I found PMH Atwater's Forever Angels, and that's a book that's hard to find actually, and it is I know I see you. It's a book about children who've had near-death experiences as children in the womb and like up to the age of 6 or 7, I think, and just how they they never fit in, they see things differently, and it's I was very intrigued. Anyways, I uploaded it. I recorded it for 8 hours, and I uploaded the first 4 hours. It went up. The other rest of it was going up, and then all of a sudden it had a copyright on it. So I haven't figured out how this YouTube thing works because there's other audiobooks up all like everywhere. Oh. So maybe I have to find a different voice. I have no idea. So I had to take that down. But I'm going to be doing a Patreon because I was thinking that they might not let some of these other Bashar things, but so far so good. But I am going to have a backup Patreon just in case something does happen, and I've started that, and yeah, it's about it. And yeah, the other thing was the game. I think someone is reporting you. Thank you again for the cool. Well, I've already applied for the whatever it's called, and they have to go through and make sure that I meet um, the guidelines and policies and stuff like that. So we'll see if they approve it or not. Like, let's be honest, there's tons of other channels out there that are doing it, and I just tend, I'm all or nothing. And for me, I don't like the 2 or 3 minute clips. Like, they drive me actually crazy, like batshit crazy. I prefer like, I like the whole thing. I like the whole message. That's how I learn best. So if I'm buying them, like, why wouldn't I share them? Because they're useless to me to just have, without sharing them. And that's my intention. I don't claim to have made them by any means, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I think someone is reporting you. Yeah, probably. Um, I've had it out with a few of the commenters, and that's okay. I'll speak my mind. One of them was about the quality. And part of the quality, sure, I will own that I'm not a professional recorder. Just saying. Um, and some of it actually comes like straight up. That's why I posted the video of the picture. Some of it comes straight up from them. And the truth be told is that the live event for the gate that was a couple of weekends ago on the 6th or the 4th, March 4th. Um, I had put up a video and then I took it down, but yeah, there's a lot to be said about not believing everything that you see, I guess. And I'm not bashing it. I don't want to talk bad about it, except it was not what it appeared to be. And and yeah, I'll leave it at that. Um and yeah, and as far as I don't know how the other channels do it, but yeah. Um I did check out Alba Wyman. I did, yes. I was just talking about how one of the sessions I had to it got banned because it talked about uh health things that were more natural in nature, I guess, which goes against the mainstream media and what the mainstream doctors and everyone is telling people to do, and that it's and that's safe and it's all that stuff. So anything that goes against that is banned. So I had to take it down. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I do my best, and yeah, um, and the other comment that I really really enjoyed, I enjoyed them all, was I don't know, it was something. I'm a bad, horrible, horrible person. I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm bad. Um, something, something, something. And then, ironically enough, his channel is about conspiracy theories. Um, cool. I believe in conspiracy. I believe in conspiracy theories. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But I find it very useful. Um, because at first I get triggered. I take it personally sometimes, and then I may or may not get like a little mad, and then I quickly go into like, holy crap, it's a mirror. Like, damn, mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Everyone is a mirror on the wall. 100%. Everyone is reflections. And with that I learn. And yeah, and you know what? If I remember in some of the videos of a podcast I watched, I would get triggered, and and then I would type something like not nice, like just about what the person was talking about, like that I don't know what I'd said, but something like that's not true, or how do you, I don't even know. It wasn't nice, and it came from a place of being triggered, and and then I had to go, and then I went back and apologized because that felt like a dick, and um and I apologized and said I'm sorry, I was just triggered. I don't justify it, and I hope I didn't like hurt your feelings, and but please forgive me for the comment. So people are human, I get it. It is what it is, right? Why do people got to be so mean? I won't understand. These YouTube. Yeah, they can be nasty. Um, they can be nasty. And yeah, every opportunity is, yeah, for sure, about ourselves. And sometimes I'm grateful that I'm not that person complaining about a free video. Like I'd be like, well, like thank you. Whatever, tweets thrown. I'm just um and and here's an interesting fun fact. I came across this channel, and it blew my mind, actually. And it's like, I will never understand these YouTube streets can be nasty. That sentence was exactly what I was thinking. This whole channel is dedicated to bashing and like literally bashing um YouTube people, um, calling them like stupid, and showing a clip of them in their video, and like the Every single video. I couldn't believe it. And I clicked on it to actually see like, "What?" And, um, and there's nothing I can do, and I was gonna comment like, "What the fuck?" And I thought, "Just let it be. Don't feed into it. Don't watch it." And hurt people hurt others, so I send love. Um, yeah, and I mean, I don't understand how, like, actually bashing and putting up their face. I don't whatever. That's not me, so I'm staying out of that one, but yeah. And, so, yeah, and I'm quite sure I've missed a lot of your comments, so I will go back and read them, and, I hope, I answered some of your questions at least, and when I wanna lash out to I know, take a deeper look at what I don't like about me. Yes. Oh, no, it's true. 100%. Um, what I don't like about it's got nothing to do with another person ever. When something bothers me about somebody else, it's about me. It's always about me. 100% mirror. And, for the most part, I go to that, but there's still the humanness, whatever, the in-between state where, I have to consciously remember, like, "Oh, yeah, like, what is it in me that they're doing that I don't like? Because then that means I've done it, I do it, or I'm capable of doing it." Um, "You spot it, you got it," is my phrase, but the mirror, for sure. Um, deeper look at myself, yeah. Lots of deep looking inside, eh? Woo. Deep looks, deep looks. All right, my loves and lovers and love I don't know what to say, sorry, that sounded bad, but people, love you. Thanks for joining me, and, who knows when I'm coming home next. But, thank you for hanging out with me, and I wish you all a great day, morning, night, evening, love, light, and to you I say, have a good evening! Have a great night dreams. Much love. Bye.